Okay, so the Los Angeles Rams just traded for Brandon Cooks. They gave up their first round pick 23, 24 to do that. And normally I will wait till after the draft to talk about predictions for teams, how I think they're going to do next year. But now, considering the Rams don't have a draft in 2018, I figured this video is appropriate. Before we get to what they've done this offseason, and for those that have followed me on Twitter, none of this is really going to be new. You know my opinion on the Rams. If you couldn't tell by my voice, I think they're doing a terrible job with this team right now, despite the fact that everyone is losing their minds about how great they're going to be this year. So let's just take a step back to last fall when they traded a second-round pick for Sammy Watkins, who's a pretty good receiver who had injury questions, who actually stayed healthy this year. And then they just let him go. They're going to get a comp pick. He's gone. They had a really good season. They made the playoffs and lost in the first round. Sweet. Good for you. Let's not forget that this team was absurdly healthy in an NFC that was just ravaged by injury. Almost every Super Bowl contender in this division fell to pieces, including the Eagles, who won the Super Bowl. So they come into this year as a borderline playoff team, viewed by most. A lot of people are really high on this team. They have a good window of a rookie quarterback and a young contract, so they decide to get aggressive. So they trade for Marcus Peters. Good move. They also have to let Tremaine Johnson leave to do that, who is honestly in coverage just a touch behind Marcus Peters. Peters offers more playmaking opportunities, but then you got some off the field stuff. So it's a slight upgrade at corner from Tremaine Johnson to Peters. Though Peters is the fan favorite, in reality, there's not a huge difference there. But then they make some good moves. They bring in Aqib Talib for basically nothing. But they did trade draft picks to get Talib and Peters. So they're basically out of draft picks. I didn't even check, but I think they probably only have 2 or 3 draft picks left this year, and they're not good ones. What do they have, like a 3rd round pick for the EJ Gaines trade? Might be their best pick. So they upgraded corner. I liked that. And then they signed Sue for a 1-year deal, really good signing. And at this point, I'm saying, okay, they're making some good moves. They still have almost no depth. Actually, scratch the almost. They have no depth at any position anywhere. And this is a team that was ridiculously healthy last year. If they get hurt anywhere, especially in the offensive line or the receiving core, which I guess the Cooks trade helps, but man, they just don't have any depth, and they didn't have to deal with it last year because they were so healthy. And how do you fix that? Good drafts. And now they don't have any draft picks. But the biggest issue here is the outside linebacker edge rusher position, which is the second most important position on the field outside of quarterback. And this first round pick that they traded for Brandon Cooks, a deep threat who they're going to have to pay $15 million almost immediately for a team that's going to be cap strong sooner rather than later. That first round pick was their only chance at getting a starting edge rusher. There's none in free agency. And it's a good class. I mean, there is a realistic chance that that's a Harold Landry or a Marcus Davenport, a player that is going to make a much bigger impact than Brandon Cooks, and it's going to be a lot cheaper. Not to mention, they don't have a 2nd round pick because of the Sammy Watkins trade. This is hilarious. You can't seriously tell me that teams led by Aaron Rodgers, Russell Wilson, Drew Brees, Jimmy Garoppolo now in that division. You got the Cowboys and the Eagles in the NFC East. A loaded Vikings team with Kirk Cousins now and a great defense. Matt Ryan and the Falcons, who beat this team in the playoffs last year. Even count like Cam Newton. The NFC guys is freaking loaded, and they are laughing right now because the Rams, yeah, they got Sue and Donald, but they're not going to get a pass rush. You can take care of those two if you're not dealing with an edge rush. And those corners, I'm sorry. I don't care who you are. If your team's not getting after the quarterback very well and consistently, which is what an edge rush is there for, forget about it. You're not going to be running in coverage with guys for 5 seconds every play. And then on the offensive side of the ball, you swap Sammy Watkins for Brandon Cooks, and they've now given up a 1st and a 2nd round pick to do that. You've still got Jared Goff, who everyone was ready to write off as a bust and maybe the biggest of all time after his rookie year. I think he's somewhere between that and a good system quarterback, which is basically what I thought he was coming into this year. Again, I don't hate this team. It's just everyone is so hyper reactive in this league, and I just can't wait to see this play out because I think the Rams are going to win 8 to 10 games, and everyone's going to look back on this and be like, oh my God, how were they bad? They made all these great moves. When in reality, these weren't good moves. These were Madden franchise moves that all the football fans loved, but these aren't good roster building moves. So Rams fans, I'm sorry, come at me in the comments. It's April 3rd in Minneapolis, and we got about 9 inches of snow today, so I hope you're on the beach ordering your Brandon Cooks Rams jerseys on Amazon or something. Looking forward to seeing this play out. The rest of you, let me know in the comments what you think. I think the Patriots totally got a steal here, by the way. They're just playing chess while the rest of the league is playing checkers. Gonna have more draft content coming, guys. Super excited for this draft season. Cheers, everyone. We'll see you next time.